Hello, guys. Hello. I wanted to talk. So, honestly, I kind of didn't want to talk about this. It's just about like the Taylor Swift wedding situation and stuff. I think there's a lot of fun things people can imagine it as, and it's odd because it seemed like a PR relationship to me. The Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. So I'm curious if it's a legal marriage on paper or if it's like how Tana Mongeau like married Jake Paul and stuff. You know how like I don't know, I think everybody saw that, but then it like wasn't a legal marriage on paper. So I'm really curious like which direction they're going, but I think they're going like NDA, you know. Nobody knows, but maybe we get paid like $1 billion or something, or hundreds of millions of dollars for the relationship. I kind of believe that. But I don't think these are people that don't like each other. I don't think there's zero attraction. I just think that some things are a little different. I think if you're like a close friend, maybe you can find out if you're under an NDA or if you're not going to tell anyone, you know what I mean? If it's kind of obvious you're not going to tell anyone, then I think you find out that they're not technically exclusive, or it's only lasting for a set amount of time, or like, they're just doing it for now, but they see it as more of a PR thing or like a social media thing or something. Which I don't think is wrong. I think that's great. I think that's a really good career boost. I think it's, one of the smartest things you can do if you're already in the $100 million tax bracket or $1 billion tax bracket, right? Why not let the entire planet and all of the young people looking up to you believe in not just love, but like healthy love that's also successful, and sort of script it so that you always know that there's never going to be a problem between you because it's not technically planned as like the end all be all. I think that for a few reasons, but it does feel like they care about each other as people, but it doesn't feel like this is like, if I could only choose one person on the planet, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like, which I'm not saying you have to regret your other relationships, you don't, obviously. But I mean, like, if you sort of would look at all of them and not choose the one that you're currently with, if you had complete choice, right? I would see that as a red flag. I see that, like, and it feels like these are two people who, if zero money were involved, either would not have found each other or would not have been the number one person for each other. It feels like if either person were a little more outside the box with their own personality, going the same way they already want to go, just actually like sort of they would feel rejected by each other's like aesthetic or something, you know what I mean? And I feel like they almost do, but they like normalize the part of themselves that each other would be scared off by, is what I see. But I think they also like to act pretty normal in their lives, especially like in public. I already talked about like reasons why I thought it was a PR relationship before. Also, I had dreams in the past a long time ago where Taylor Swift would be there and Travis Kelce would be there. Travis Kelce would always try to do something in some way, shape, or form where it was as if it's not an exclusive relationship. You know what I mean? And almost as if he wanted to signal to the public in some way that it's not technically an exclusive relationship was sort of, or not always, or like it's technically not even gone there or something. You know what I mean? Like there's something going on where like, yeah, they're like kissing in public, but like something else is going on. Something is not like technically behind closed doors, something is different. Like not as committed or not as serious or not as evolved as it looks like or something. I don't know. There are ways you can sort of tell. I know that when the Tortured Poets Department came out, she was sort of newly with him, right? So there were very deep, very soul crushing, like her soul was really in. They were more like soulful in a way, like her soul was really in the songs about Joe, or the songs about Maddie Healy, or the songs about like regrets from the past, or the songs about, you know, celebrities she looks up to, or like the songs where she was sort of like questioning everything and like existential and like the whole like universe thing, and like how did she end up where she is, and like is she on a pedestal, right? Those, her soul's a little more in. I think so. So High School was like a cool song in a lot of ways, but like you can tell that if that's one of the only ones about Travis Kelce, you can tell that while this is fun, well, when people describe a high school relationship, it's sort of like less serious. It's more like it's like for the drama, it's for the publicity, it's for like how cool you look, right? It's very like if I'm seen in public with this person, everybody's gonna want to be my friend, you know? Which it's also like, you know, young love, and it's like flirty and it's fun. And I don't think it shouldn't have been on the album. Obviously, it should have. It's a great song. Everybody loves it. Whatever. It does go a little into like some other stuff I talked about, but I don't like hate it. Like it's not like universally bad. You know what I mean? Like people love it. It's popular. It's very on brand. It sort of expands the brand in certain ways that I've already talked about. Good and bad, but like, you know, overall probably mostly good, especially for like the amount of money it's bringing in, whatever. I get it. Okay. So then her next album, right, The Life of a Showgirl, she chooses to sort of use So High School as like the song that could have even been on The Life of a Showgirl, right? But there's sort of something going on where the young, flirty, high school, but very shallow, almost like, I'm not insulting the album, I don't mean it that way, but like when you talk about like, you've had like soul crushing songs or like deep like love stories with very intricate like emotions entangled, right? If you think about it for like the whole entire career, that she's had those for the whole entire career, and then the person she finally wants to marry, she barely has feelings for, because she can say something sexual about him. She can say he makes her think about high school a lot, but there's not the next level of an explanation of what about him makes you want to marry him. There was like, she's like, I don't know, like he's nice to me and that gets me like undressed or whatever, but like, you know what I mean, with the song Would, but like there's not really like the level where it's like you start to say, you know, this was the moment when I knew I wanted to like be with you forever or something. Like she can say that about anybody else, right? She can sort of say that about anybody else, right? Like anybody else that she's dated, like what about like Enchanted? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the right person at all, but like definitely not. But like I was like enchanted to meet you or something, or like haunted and stuff. I'm not saying it has to be from that era, but like those are like extreme ways to feel about somebody in the past to now be marrying somebody when Would is like the best thing you could say about them. Not that that's not fun, like great, but like I'm not saying it's not a good song or anything. I just don't think that I think she's in her growing up era, and that starts with being way younger than she currently is. But that is what it is. It's not like a bad thing. It's young, right? But what I mean is the part where you decide, when you're a writer, the part where you decide you want to marry somebody is kind of, or be in a serious relationship with somebody, you have a lot to say about that. So it was either on paper planned, or when you decided you wanted to make all these choices, those were conversations you had with somebody in person, and then the art didn't get the... I'm not even trying to do it as like a critique. That's not what I mean. I mean, when you look for like evidence of like, is this a writer who's like deeply in love right now? If I entered a long-term relationship and immediately released an album full of songs about my previous breakup, that's great. I already probably made those. Okay? Like what, like a year in or something, about to get engaged. If I put out a song, or I mean a whole album, and the only thing I even mentioned that person in really, like if she had the song Honey, right? Where she's like, you can call me honey if you want. But the deep concern of like, if it is real, then it's another thing I'm about to talk about. But we'll start with if it's not real, which they're not doing a lot to fake it if it's not real. They're doing public like impressions, right? Public meetups, where there's a lot more going on with like, who's gonna design your outfit? You know what I mean? There's a lot more going on with that. And like, do you want matching outfits? Do you not want matching outfits? Like, there's a lot more going on with that, you know? But in a way, like, little kids are gonna look up to that and be like, wow, like, real love exists, so it's not like a bad thing. And, you know, headlines everywhere. But if it is a PR relationship, why is this the getting married PR relationship? I mean, maybe it just looks good, but okay. And then if it's not a PR relationship, well, either way, even if it is, you still have the underside of what almost looks like the celebrity mask, right? The underside. Well, she had just called Maddie Healy her twin flame, or so the whole world believes, on the Tortured Poets Department. Even though the name apparently is about Joe, which makes it sort of messy because it's like, you know, the conflict. But that's fine. People have a right to that. It's almost kind of shade at both of them, right? Because it's like Maddie Healy's not important enough to get an album title that feels about him, but Joe's not important enough to not be like the one who's not the twin flame. Messy. And then Travis Kelce's not important enough to not have this album come out. Right? Now, here's the thing. If it's not a PR relationship, how did Travis Kelce not get scared away? He starts to almost look stupid by not getting scared away, so the money better be big, right? The money better be massive and crazy that they're getting for this PR relationship in some form. Because otherwise, he's ready to make himself look stupid. Like, she was just in love with two other people. Like, one got an album title. The other one got called her twin flame. If I'm not one of those, this is gonna be really bad. You know what I mean? But like, brand new relationship, all he got was So High School. That one's gonna be the album title. That one's gonna be my twin flame. You remind me of high school. You'd be like, okay, so I'm gonna get cheated on or thrown away. Like I'm not that deep of, I'm like a little crush for you, right? You're gonna see me in like math class, but you're gonna be thinking about those ones, you know? Like, that's a pretty big loss to take in a way, right? There's a mosquito in here. It's really annoying. But yeah, so you would immediately be like, so that's a pretty big loss to take. Like, why am I not the album title? Why am I not the twin flame? Like, neither of those, you know? First of all, those are not even gonna be the same person, but as far as the public knows, but which is fine, but kind of weird. Anyway, but yeah, Travis Kelce, like, if it were fully real, would he get scared away? Or is that contract looking really good? There's some holes in the story either way. Which the world would hate me saying that, but actually the world doesn't know about me, so it doesn't matter. But the world would hate people saying that, right? So, when does it seem like the mask is coming off other than just that part? The celebrity mask, not like, oh, like something dark, right? Like psychopath, like maybe, I don't know, but the celebrity mask, right? So, I guess there was like the Toy Story movie or something. Taylor Swift was like, she had like the song come out, I don't know, some kind of song, but then she talks about how it's gonna be like in the end credits, right? And when she talks about it being in the end credits, she says like, I just want them to think about, you know, someone from the past who, you know, maybe they haven't reconnected with yet, but like maybe they're going to or whatever, like maybe they want to. For a Toy Story movie? Right. Right. You just like offer them the song like for a Toy Story movie. I mean, you're gonna make like millions or whatever, but like, but for the Toy Story, but like that's nothing to you. For a Toy Story movie, she's doing stuff for the plot, you know. For the Toy Story movie. For the Toy Story movie. For the Toy Story movie. Toy Story is supposed to be like happy and like about kids and stuff, and like they're just playing with their toys and they come alive or something and they go on an adventure. Why would you need to remember somebody who you're not currently with, but like, unless you're thinking about that so much that it just made it in there? Which means either the relationship's not real at all or you're already like emotionally with someone else, right? Like, really. Right? I mean, that's kind of, which doesn't, not necessarily, but like, it's pretty out there. Especially, imagine you're not only engaged, you're about to get married, and people don't know if it's in the coming weeks, within a month, within a couple days, no one knows. Right? People are trying to figure out, no one knows. And you're gonna say, I just want people to think of that person who they might be getting back together with someday. If I were about to get married to somebody, and it were real, and they say, like, I just want everybody out there to think about the person who they're not with anymore, who they might be with someday. I'd be like deeply concerned for like the fate of our relationship, because like, what? Really? Your real mind is not in the about to get married phase if you're her. You know, like, her real mind's not in like the state of being like, I can't believe, like, it's like if you're standing on the edge, the precipice of something, right? You're standing on the edge of something, like you're standing on the edge of the cliff of like your next big adventure as a person, if that's the direction you want to go in. She's just like, the direction she's facing is not that she's still going to be in the relationship in a year, you know? So if the engagement were going to get called off, it would have to be happening within the next like couple days or something, right? Unless they like don't go through with it day of or something like that. We can talk about like other parts of it, but oh, and there's like that song that Taylor Swift had made called like Elizabeth Taylor or something, but it's about how Elizabeth Taylor had all these marriages or something, multiple marriages, and it's sort of like whatever, like as if like normalizing multiple marriages, and it's like if Taylor Swift is sitting there like, you know, I guess it's not that bad, I could always get married again if it doesn't go well, but it's like, why is that the headspace you're in a very fast-paced, like about to get married situation? Like, you could have just waited or something, right? Sort of not lining up. She's sort of like, just let me rush the marriage to the marriage part, not be sure about it All I'm going to say is he can call me honey, which is not that deep of a thing. Anybody can use like a pet name in a relationship, right? Like, it doesn't mean so much that nobody can ever say the word again, necessarily. People kind of reuse those. There's only so many. Not only do people reuse those, but they're calling the person something someone else has called them before or something, right? And like, I don't know. Yeah. So, I don't know, there was some rumor that I guess she was dating Somber or something because people were like, oh my god, she's talking about Somber every second. So, I don't know what I believe about that because I think that's like just private if it's true, but then it would mean I guess she's cheating on her public relationship, which might be a PR thing. And I guess people were like, oh no, Somber is only 20, like that's so bad. Taylor Swift's like in her 30s or something. So people have opinions. I don't know. I don't know if it's even true, but they might just be friends because sometimes people are friends. I don't want to like rule out people being friends. Like, I don't want to say like that's never what's happening, you know? Because like that kind of doesn't make sense. I don't want to say like every time somebody meets somebody else that they're like dating or something. Like, I think there's just rumors, but it's also possible because maybe it's not actually like that serious of a public relationship. Like, it might publicly look more serious than it is, whatever. Again, contracts, maybe. That's how I see it. But actually, how I see it is that like other celebrities are not supposed to know unless they're like very close friends or something. Like, I feel like there's sort of like it's like under wraps, right? It's not going to be like every celebrity knows. Like, some of them are supposed to not know. And it's interesting for a person who Taylor Swift had called her twin flame, Maddie Healy, or so that's who people believe it was, right? It's interesting for him to also be engaged and to the girl named Gabriette. I think that's her name, Gabriette. I don't really know. I think she's like an influencer or something, but yeah, so I think that's like a real relationship. I don't think it's like PR. But, you know, anything's possible, whatever. It's for them to be engaged, and some people think like, oh, maybe Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy will each marry separate people, either the same weekend, the same week, or the same day. People are kind of looking at it like maybe that's going to happen because the dates are lining up kind of weird, where like Gabriette and Maddie Healy are planning on July, so it looks like. And it looks like Taylor Swift is either doing the end of June or July. So, if that is what's happening, then that's a little weird, right? I don't know if anything weird is gonna happen. I know that when there were rumors, when there were situations like Justin Bieber getting married or Selena Gomez getting married, how like Justin Bieber, there was some story where like Justin Bieber had called Selena Gomez like 20 times or something before like walking to the altar or whatever. Like, apparently he was trying to get in touch with her to find out if he had made the right decision, like all of that stuff, right? As somebody does when maybe they believe that somebody's their twin flame, or they have like what they feel like is like a connection where maybe it's not over yet or something, and they want to make sure they know if it is before making what seems like a serious connection, or I mean a serious decision about their current relationship, which is not the best look if it's true for Hailey Bieber in the relationship, right? It's like, well, why does he need to call his ex 20 times? Like, that would just never fly with me, you know what I mean? Like, you think we're in a relationship, but you're gonna call your ex 20 times, like, about decisions involving me, like, especially like a marriage or something, like, I don't get it, but if your head's not really in the game, like, why, like, you know what I mean? Like, your mind is like completely somewhere else the day of your wedding. Like, I think a lot of people get like nervous and stuff, or like they question it, but like you could question it before you get engaged, because that's kind of a big deal to like not be sure. That seems like a big deal to me. But yeah, I mean, if they're twin flames, which I think they are, Matty Healy and Taylor Swift, then are they gonna get married the same day? Is Taylor Swift in a fake relationship to test whether Matty Healy even wants to be in his relationship? Because I could picture that immensely. Like, I could really picture that. That probably makes the most sense. Of course, there's little things that are so, like, publicized. Like, sort of the way they got engaged or something. I just remember catching a vibe where I was like, there's no way that she didn't think it was gonna happen on, like, that exact day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way it, like, I don't know, the coincidence that it, like, fit into her calendar or something. I don't know. I think she's too big of a celebrity and it looks too planned for some of it to not be planned. But yeah, I just think it's a PR relationship. Is she cheating with Somber, or are they just not exclusive? Right? People freaked out when Travis Kelce was like hanging out with the other sports dudes, someone who had like maybe cheated on the Kardashians or something. People freaked out because they're like, oh my god, he's in a club with that dude. What's happening? We didn't even know they knew each other or something. I don't know. Whatever that is. It just seems like you really have to be in the inner circle to find out if it's true or not, if it's real or not, which is giving not real vibes. So, I don't know. Maybe Taylor Swift is hoping that Matty Healy will do that Justin Bieber move, like call the ex 300 times on the wedding day and find out if it's like really a good idea, right? That's my guess. Anyway, I love you guys. Goodbye.